Timor, O beloved land, your mountains rise with pride. Your rivers whisper ancient songs of battles fought and tears long dried. A land that breeds resilience, where warriors once stood tall against the chains of foreign rule. You have always answered the call. Timor, your blood runs deep through those who till the sacred soil. Though broken and beaten, you rise again through sacrifice and toil. The winds that sweep your shores carry tales of suffering and strife, but also stories of hope renewed and the spirit of life. That's Ode to Timor, a poem by Francisco Borja da Costa, a Timorese poet, revolutionary and national hero. Originally written in Portuguese, what you just heard is an English translation of key excerpts from the poem. Francisco wrote this poem during the period of Portuguese colonization, and it became symbolic of Timor-Leste's struggle for independence. The poem, though simple, carries the deep emotional weight of Timor-Leste's long struggle against oppression and colonialism. Francisco Borja da Costa was more than just a poet. He was a prominent figure in Timor-Leste's independence movement. He was known for his strong anti-colonial and pre-independence sentiment. Tragically, he was killed on December 7th, 1975, during the Indonesian invasion of Dili, the capital of Timor-Leste, just a day after the country declared independence from Portugal. His death occurred on the first day of Indonesia's occupation, making him a martyr who fought for Timorese freedom. He is also the writer of Patria, the national anthem of Timor-Leste. Ode to Timor celebrates the beauty and resilience of the country and its people while expressing a profound love for the land and a deep yearning for freedom. It remains a symbol of national pride and continues to inspire the Timorese people. And with that, probably you guessed it, today our destination is Timor-Leste. Hello. This is Shilpa, and you are listening to my folktale storytelling podcast, Oh Folk. Welcome to yet another story-filled, fact-filled new episode. Hope everyone out there is doing well and staying healthy. We are almost close to the end of this year. So much has happened in 2024. Looking at the global socio-political scenario, it feels like there were more downs than ups this year. But as humans, we always live with hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope to rise again. No matter what the odds are, I know we still will want the next year to be better, prosperous, and bring a lot of happiness to everyone. Let's try to step into the new year with that and pass it on to the larger society around us, because we should never give up on pushing for a better tomorrow. As As you know, in this season, we are exploring rare folk tales from different parts of Asia. And in today's episode, we are traveling to this unique country in Asia, Timor-Leste. I'm pretty sure not very many people probably know about this country, and even fewer people might have actually traveled there. But that's the whole point of O-Folk. Besides rare folk tales, we also travel to countries which might not be very familiar to you, but you get to know them in a unique way through their folk tales. Timor-Leste, also known as East Timor, and officially called the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, is a country in Southeast Asia. It comprises the eastern half of the island of Timor. The western half of this island is administered by Indonesia. Timor-Leste is bounded by the Timor Sea to its southeast and has Australia as the country's southern neighbor, separated by the Timor Sea. Dili, on the north coast of Timor, is the capital and its largest city. This fairly small island country is about half the size of Maryland and slightly larger than Connecticut. Timor-Leste became an independent nation quite recently in 2002, following over 400 years of Portuguese colonization, 24 years of Indonesian occupation, and 3 years of United Nations transitional administration. The majority of the population is primarily Christian and is of Papuan, Malayan, and Polynesian ancestry. The Austronesian language, Tatum, predominates among the roughly 40 distinct Papuan and Malayan languages or dialects that are spoken in this country. With ties to Southeast Asia and Melanesia, this variety reflects the nation's varied blend of cultures and languages. Although just a small percentage of people speak Portuguese, it is actually one of the 2 official languages of the nation, along with Tatum. English and Indonesian are regarded as working languages in this country. The earliest reference to Timor-Leste in recorded history comes from Chinese and Javanese sources, dating back to around the 14th century. By the way, when I say Javanese, I'm referring to Java, Indonesia. The island of Timor appears in Chinese historical records as Tiyu or Timun, mentioned as part of a network of islands involved in trade with the Chinese Empire. Chinese traders were known to visit the island to procure sandalwood, which was highly valued for its aromatic properties and used in incense, perfumes, and traditional medicine. Sandalwood was in fact one of Timor's most prized exports, and the trade continued for centuries. And not just China, the island of Timor was part of the broader trade network of Southeast Asia, linking the islands of the Indonesian archipelago, the Malay Peninsula, and India along with China. By 14th century, Timor also became a key exporter of honey and wax, besides sandalwood. The sandalwood trade attracted the Portuguese, who arrived in the early 16th century, and by mid-century they already had colonized the land. Timor is also referenced in Nagara Kretagama, a 14th century Javanese epic poem from the Majapahit Empire, one of the most powerful kingdoms in Southeast Asia at that time. In 1365, a court poet named Prapanka wrote the Nagara Kretagama, which identifies Timor as one of the islands that the Majapahit Empire influenced or honored. Timor is called Timur in the text, which translates to east, the direction east, indicating the island's position in relation to Java. Today, Timor-Leste, despite being a small and relatively young independent nation, makes several notable contributions to the world, from its role as a symbol of resilience and peace-building in achieving independence to its efforts in cultural preservation and environmental conservation. This small country has been setting an example for the rest of the world. While it's a small nation, its rich heritage, biodiversity, and history inspire both its neighbors and the global community. Folktales from Timor-Leste are heavily influenced by the Austronesian cultures that settled in the island, as well as by its later interactions with Portuguese colonizers and neighboring regions. Since Timor-Leste was colonized by Portugal for centuries, the influence of Portuguese culture and Catholicism is visible in its folktales, especially in a way traditional stories have been reinterpreted through a Christian lens. As Catholicism spread, many indigenous tales were modified to include Christian themes of good versus evil, the presence of saints, and moral lessons reflecting Catholic virtues. This country has a strong oral storytelling tradition, with folktales passed down through generations via liurai, meaning chiefs or elders of the society, and through tais, a traditional cloth that tells stories through its intricate patterns. Songs and music also play a very important role in preserving the folklore. Folktales are sung as ballads with rhythmic chants or accompanied by traditional instruments like the babadok, a small shoulder drum. One notable genre is Baysala, a form of storytelling through song and dance, which is used to recount historical events, cultural myths, and tales of love and loss. Many Timorese folktales are rooted in the belief in ancestral spirits, nature deities, and the close relationship between humans and the natural world. The indigenous people believed in animism, where everything in nature, such as the trees, mountains, and rivers, held spiritual significance. This belief is seen in their folktales that tell stories of spirits inhabiting animals, landscapes, and natural phenomena. For example, stories often feature lulik, which refers to the sacred, mystical, and forbidden. Lulik is a central concept in Timor-Leste's traditional belief system, representing sacredness, spirituality, and the interconnectedness between the physical and supernatural worlds. The term itself is multifaceted, often translated as sacred, forbidden, taboo, or mystical. It refers to the presence of divine or spiritual power in objects, places, ancestors, and even social relationships. Folktales frequently describe how improper interactions with lulic forces could bring misfortune or curses. The history of resistance against Portuguese colonialism and later Indonesian occupation has also shaped modern Timorese folktales. Stories of the people's struggle for independence, particularly the fight for freedom in the 20th century, have also become part of the folklore tradition, highlighting themes of resilience, sacrifice, and hope. These contemporary folktales honor the heroes of Timor-Leste's fight for sovereignty and integrate them into the country's cultural mythology, much like ancient warriors and deities of the past. To celebrate the folktale heritage of Timor-Leste, I have chosen a unique and rare tale that offers a deeper insight into the culture and mysticism of the land. The story, Tale of the Weaving Maiden and the Enchanted Sea Serpent, is lesser known but captivating, filled with themes of love, transformation, and the connection between the natural world and human destiny. A common theme in Timorese folktale. Many years ago, in a remote seaside village in Timor-Leste, lived a young girl named Bibi. Bibi was known throughout the region for her extraordinary skill in weaving ties. Her designs were unique and known for intricate patterns of nature, animals, spirits, and the sea. No one knew how she got the ideas of these designs. Her embroideries carried unique symbols and designs that many believe to have an ancient power of connecting people deeply with nature. Bibi lived alone in a small house on the beach, where she used to spend her days weaving while listening to the sound of the waves. She always felt connected to water and firmly believed that the sea had century-old secrets unknown to humans. Bibi had a strange dream one night. In her dream, a gigantic sea snake emerged from the ocean's depths as she stood by the coast. Its eyes resembled the deepest ocean depths, ancient and wise, and its scales sparkled like gems in the moonlight. The serpent's voice resembled the rolling waves as it spoke to her. Baby, you are the chosen one. Your forefathers promised the sea something long ago, and they haven't kept their word. As the ocean's protector, I have come to remind you of the responsibility owed by your people. The tide will rise and engulf your town unless you can recover the ancient weaving pattern that your ancestors lost. Time is running out. When Bibi woke up, she knew it was not just a dream, but a warning. However, she was confused. Over the past many years, she had woven hundreds of patterns, but she couldn't recall even a single pattern like the one the serpent described. But she didn't want to waste any time. She quickly ran to talk to the elders of the village. On hearing about Bibi's dream, they seemed worried. The myth of the sacred pattern of the sea, a design that was formerly used to honor the sea spirits, was an old legend that had been passed down in their community through generations. Their forefathers had woven it, but as time passed, the pattern was lost, and the people had forgotten their relationship with the ocean. Now the elders had no clue how to trace it back. They couldn't help much. All they could do was give their blessings to Bibi. Although Bibi didn't find much information, she was determined. She set out on a journey to rediscover the lost sacred pattern. She went from village to village, meeting different weavers, community leaders, and storytellers, hoping to learn something about the ancient design. Days stretched into weeks, and weeks into months. But no one seemed to know much about the pattern. As time passed, Bibi seemed to lose hope. One evening, she was standing by the sea, caught in her own thoughts. Suddenly, she noticed that the water began to churn fiercely and the sky darkened. The sea serpent rose once again from the depth of the water. This time, its voice was more intense and pressing. It said, "Baby, it's almost time. You must recover the sacred pattern. Don't look anywhere else. The pattern is within you. Trust in the water and it will reveal the mysteries." With these words, the serpent vanished again beneath the waves. Returning to her loom, Bibi wove with a newfound determination. As if guided by the ocean itself, she created a magnificent pattern featuring waves, sea creatures, and mystical symbols that seemed alive. When Bibi finished the weaving, she firmly knew that it was the ancient sacred pattern that the serpent mentioned to her. The moment she cut the cloth from the loom, there seemed to be a change in the air around her. the sky cleared and the ocean, which had been restless for weeks, became calm. She called the village elders to take a look at the pattern. When they came to see the cloth, the elders marveled at its beauty and the uniqueness of the design. But that's not the end of this tale. As the village gathered to celebrate the creation of the sacred cloth, the sea serpent appeared again. But this time it was silent. It did not speak. Rather, it started to circle the coastline. And as it did so, the sea shimmered with golden light. Slowly, the serpent crawled to get close to Bibi, and the locals looked on in wonder. To everyone's surprise, the serpent bowed before her, lowering its enormous head, as if she was receiving respect from the ocean itself. The serpent then started to transform and change its shape. The long, scaly figure metamorphosed into a handsome young man with the same ocean-deep, gorgeous eyes as the serpent. The young man said, "I am the spirit of the sea, and I have been imprisoned in the body of the serpent for centuries because your ancestors disrespected the sacred pattern and never protected it. However, you have finally released me through your weaving, and the bond between your people and the water has been restored." Now that he was no longer a serpent, the young man remained in the village and became a protector of the community and its people. Bibi and the man eventually fell in love, and together they continued the tradition of weaving the sacred pattern into the village's cloth, ensuring that the bond with the sea would never be broken again. The village prospered after that day, and the ocean, once dreaded for its might, became a source of life and prosperity. The story of Bibi and the enchanted sea serpent was passed down through generations, though it remained a tale told only within certain coastal communities. This tale, while not widely known, is both mystical and enchanting. It highlights the deep connection between the people of Timor-Leste and their natural environment, particularly the sea. It also carries timeless themes of responsibility, tradition, and the transformative power of honoring one's heritage. And with that story, it's almost a wrap. That's all I have for this episode. I hope you are enjoying O Folk as much as I enjoy learning about the different countries, curating unique folk tales from these lands, and, of course, most importantly, bringing them to you. If you have any feedback about the podcast or have any story suggestion, please let me know through OFolk's social media handles. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by the same name. Keep loving, keep listening to OFolk on any of your preferred pod platforms. OFolk is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on almost all the major podcast platforms. And of course, very, very important, please share this podcast with everybody around you. Friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, everyone. Take care of yourself and join me in the next episode of yet another story-filled, fact-filled folktale storytelling trip. Until next time, advance good wishes for the holiday season and wish all of you out there a very good health and good vibes always.